Hi guys, so I'm gonna show you something cool. So basically, um, I was using Steam in-home streaming for playing games, and so basically, um, the computer that it was on, the motherboard, the CPU kicked the bucket because of some weird issue the motherboard was, and so now I have it. So, um, let me show you. So going over here, this setup right here is kind of weird, so let me show you right quick. So if you can see right there, you probably can't see that, but there you go. So as you can see, there's a GPU right there. That GPU um is connected to here, which there's an HDMI cable that's going from right here down there. So down there around here, and then to over here. And this is going to get pushed back into there, so it's not going to be in the middle of the floor. This shelf is going to go on the other side of the room that's behind there. But this is just a cool setup. So there's two ways you can do this. So if your computer has an Intel graphics, so basically, so take your the monitor you would have. So with this graphics card, it has three ports. It has HMI, DVI, and DisplayPort. The main monitor, which is a 1440p monitor, is hooked to the graphics card DisplayPort, and then the HMI is hooked to this TV right here. And then the other one, I wanted to hook to the other TV that's on the wall. I wanted to hook to the DVI port, but for some reason, this specific brand TV, I've tried multiple versions of the TV. I've got replacements of this TV. I've tried different batches. Because I bought them, returned them after they failed to work because of, for some reason, this this HDMI the HDMI on here doesn't like to output to the DVI port on a graphics card. It does DisplayPort just fine if you use a DisplayPort to HDMI cable, or a DisplayPort to DisplayPort. DisplayPort to HDMI cable, or DisplayPort to the HDMI adapter to a HDMI cable. It would work, but for these specific TVs, it just doesn't like going over DVI. And so this is DVI, so it can do digital and it can also do analog. So, and its maximum output is is 4K if you needed to know that, but it's just this specific brand of TV just does not like it. And so basically there's two ways of doing this. So the main monitor that you have, which if it's a DisplayPort monitor, if it because most of the times the main monitor, the first monitor is the DisplayPort. So all you have to do is take a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter and plug the DisplayPort into the DisplayPort port. Take the HDMI cable, plug into an HDMI splitter, and then basically feed that to your main monitor, and then feed it to your secondary monitor you want to game on. So if you want to game on TV, run HDMI from your TV to the main port to the split port, like a Spitfire Pro or a Ori adapter. A HDMI splitter, and you basically split the two, and it says that transfers audio. It would do perfectly fine if you're trying to transfer audio from your soundbar to your that goes that's plugged into your TV, and then use something called Sound Switch. And so if you're sitting at your desk, you can basically, and you want to game at your desk, you can literally press my command is Control Alt Shift 0. since that's a command I don't use, I use Control Alt Shift 1 for OBS and and the stuff like that. And the Stream Deck is being used for other stuff like starting and stopping stuff. But yeah, so you can just, or you could use the Stream Deck, or you can just use like F20 or F21. But I'm using those other keys on somewhere else. And so what you're going to do is basically, install Sound Switch, and then assign it a key that you would not use, or that you think you will never use, and then you make it switch. So you basically name it something like desktop gaming, and then TV gaming, something like that, and then you name it that, and then you give each hotkey, for example, Control Alt Shift 0 for to swap there, and then you basically then you just can switch between your TV if it has a sound bar on there, or you can use the TV speakers, or if you have audio coming from the TV, you just make sure this TV is set as your main monitor. And going back over here, you basically, after you can use a switch, or you can do what I did, which was this monitor up here, or the TV, is hooked to my HDMI port on my motherboard. Since this is a Intel CPU, you can use integrate graphics and the internal graphics at the same exact time. Same thing can be said if you have a Ryzen APU. You pretty much are using the iGPU and the external GPU, as long as you have an option to use your display port as well as if you have an option of using your display port as a if you have the option to have them both active, which most Intel boards can do actually that. And so this one, the top monitor right here, is hooked to the HDMI ports. The HDMI is going over there, down there to the HDMI port on my motherboard. So I could run this monitor over there, because I was running into glitches. I'm going to explain what I did. So before I had this monitor right here, this monitor below, as my main monitor, which is still is, and then this was my secondary monitor, and a monitor that this looks like what was my third monitor. But so what ended up happening was I ended up playing a game, and there was more input latency because it was going through this graphics card to that graphics card. So there was minor hiccups and there was no audio at certain points. So then I thought, let me just basically put this monitor, which is just used for browsing, and also have OBS up there, and then when I need to use that monitor for like Switch games, I could literally just drag OBS down to this screen and just have OBS running here. And from actually there, I can just turn off the other panel that's over here when I'm not using it. And so yeah. So how I did it was, so I'm just gonna show you. So let me just exit Steam Big Picture mode. So also you're gonna have to have Steam boot up in Steam Big Picture mode. So what I did was go to right here, right click, and then go to display settings. As you see, this is the graphics card. I mean, this is how it's set up. Number one is up here. Number one is the monitor, is a TV right here where you see the mouse. And then number 2 and 3, this is 2. The other monitor over behind me is 3. And so I actually had this duplicated. So one's there because this monitor and the monitor on the other side of the room is 4K. So what I did was had them downscale to 1440p. This one is 1440p. The one you're looking at right now is 1440p, 120 hertz. I mean 144 hertz, but it is basically has to run at 60 because of the 4K panel behind me is running at 60. So basically, I can't push the 4K panel to 144 hertz, and I can't push this, and I can't push this panel to 4K. So it takes the lowest resolution with like the lowest the lowest hertz, which is this has the highest hertz, TV has the lowest hertz, this has the lowest resolution, TV has the highest resolution. So basically it looks like this. And so this monitor is running at 60, that monitor is running at 60 and 1440, and this is running at 1440, this is running also at 60. So from actually there, you just basically go, you actually click the two monitors you want. So right here, for this one, I clicked on that one, and you click on right here where it says duplicate 2 and 3, which is this one and the panel over there. So and plus it is mirrored, and so whatever I do on this panel gets picked up on the panel over there. But the thing is, since this is running off the graphics card, there's no hiccups. Because it's not going from this graphics card to that graphics card, and since this graphics card is only being used for like OBS running, I have all of the rendering happening in OBS through the graphics card. So this monitor is displaying OBS, and so the monitor up here is displaying OBS when it's running. So when I take this thing right here and press this button, which is the open, it opens up, so you press button, it opens up OBS right there. And so when it opens up OBS, I can just move it around. So if I want to play the Switch, I just bring this down to here and then take this remote after making this full screen, and then taking this remote and changing the source to Switch. And from actually there, that's where the switch from there, the HDMI travels down to the HDMI switch that's on there, down to there, which goes to my because of that cable goes to the HDMI switch that goes to the Nintendo Switch, and then the Nintendo, so the the HDMI splitter, the TV goes to the HDMI splitter goes to the switch, and the splitter also goes to the HDMI switch, which goes to the capture card. And that capture card has 5 inputs on there, so I can have multiple things hooked up, and yeah, and so that's how that's hooked up. But basically, so this basically there will be zero input latency. There will be zero lag when gaming. You don't have to use an Apple TV or basically have a secondary computer running or any kind of streaming device running Steam and home streaming. If you have a computer in the same as your room and you basically have a secondary port, you can just basically run it like this. So because if I basically right click on Steam, open big picture, it basically, you see it right there. And now, as you can see, and so I can load up my library. I also have Controller Companion installed on this computer, where when I exit out a bit, so I can press this button right here on the Xbox controller to enter into big picture mode, and then when I basically exit out of Steam big picture mode, I can use the controller as a mouse and keyboard whenever not in big action picture mode. And so the A button would be select, B would be right click, A would be right click, and B would be left click. So yeah. So with that, I can also shut down the computer. And if I actually have a keyboard next to me, I can actually because I've been trying to figure out how to make it so the Bluetooth is detected as like a HID device or a human interface device, so I can basically press the actual, so it can press any button and start up with the press of a button on the Xbox controller, and then when I press the button, it turns it on, and then I can basically just do actually this when I'm done, like either log out of like the big picture mode or press turn off system. And when I turn off system, I could basically just do actually this, and then it shuts down. And then when I need to um and when I'm not at the desk and I just want to play games, I could literally just take I could take I could literally just take the controller and just, so I just want to play games, I can just take the controller and um lay down or sit in this chair and turn around and play games because there's a way of actually getting the echo to basically turn on the device by using the, what's that thing called, I can't remember what it's called, the the MAC ID, the MAC address, that's what it's called, MAC address, to actually controlled, because there's a skill on the Echo allowing you to turn on the computer with actually the MAC address, and that's how you can turn on the computer with by using a filter. By starting Windows with, starting the computer with, I forgot what it's called, but it's it's WAN. It's Wake on LAN, which is or Wake Wall, which is Wake on LAN, and you can use that to you can use Wake on LAN to turn on the computer. Then you can use basically Alexa cancel. You can use the Echo to to basically say turn on PC, and then after that you can tell um the Wake on LAN command, because you can say you can tell, for example, to turn on PC, and that command will basically send the command to this computer's MAC address, as long as it's on the internet, to wake up. And then once it wakes up, you can then it will start, and then you can use a controller and use it when like under Windows, and then you can basically have Steam Big Picture boot up in Big Picture mode. And once you have Steam boot up in Big Picture mode, you literally can you can add like Firefox or any other kind of web browser or any kind of streaming app into Steam Big Picture, and then you can exit out of Steam Big. When it opens the app, you can press the back key to go back into Steam, and once you go back into Steam, you literally can just use it as a full console replacement. If you just are into PC gaming and just want to do the occasional emulators, then it would work that way. But if you want to play like major, like high-end stuff, like console related stuff, you would need minimum need a you would minimum need a what's that thing called, an HDMI splitter that you can that is internet accessible, so that can be controlled by Wi-Fi. And then, which I have, those are pretty expensive, but you can take that and then turn it to, and then you can use the Echo to basically say switch to HDMI 1 or switch to HDMI 2, and then you can basically change that to boot into to change to your Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch. Just have a controller ready for them, so you can plug them. So you have a little stand beside your wherever you usually game at. So if this is a couch, you have like a nightstand or something. Have your controllers in the drawer. Have a miniature keyboard for when you need to do keyboard stuff on the PC, and then you can just use the Echo to switch stuff and turn stuff on for the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. You can turn those on with the controllers, and the PC you can turn on with its MAC address with Wake on LAN. Yeah, so with all that, you have a perfect setup. And just make sure you have an HDMI switch for all your consoles to have hooked to the single HDMI input on the TV. And if you have a desk setup, you can basically run a HDMI cable to where your setup actually is. Because right now, let me show you. So basically, I have these right here for just audio work. When I actually do audio work, I'm planning on getting a second pair for the Mac setup I have in the back room, because the computer I had in the back room is getting replaced with a Mac computer. This is my control surface for OBS and also audio in general on Windows. My keyboard, mouse, my mice actually. I have a gaming mouse for games and when this mouse is charging. This is a 1440p monitor, 1440p, 144 hertz, 27 inch. This is a 4K Samsung panel. Then, so this is a Dell Optiplex 7040 with no optical drive because the optical drive was damaged when in shipping, and so I basically until I took it out, added second SSD since there's no top on there because I took it off because of it was getting warm, and also my capture card was getting warm, and so I basically put fans on there with a fan splitter. And I also put a graphics card since there's no top in there, so no top on there. I put an actual extension cable, a riser cable onto the graphics card, and then I put that onto the top of the power supply. But over there, where you see the cable, is going to a power supply that's on when I turn on the computer. I mean, when I turn on the computer, before I turn on the computer, I turn that on so I can get displays to this and there. And then below that's my DBX 286S. Over on the side of there is my 4 terabytes backup drive with all my data on there. Well, all backups eventually important stuff. The other stuff is on a NAS that's actually put together. The HM400, which is a sound card. I mean, not a sound card, a amplifier. And 2 of those cables go to the interface, which is Scarlett Solo Gen 3. The other 2 cables are going to the KRK Rockets. And then I have 2 spots left. So the first one is for the speakers. The second one is just for other headphones that I daily drive, and I kind of just unplug them. And I have I have two spots for daily driven headphones. So I usually drive these daily, but I do have a spot for other headsets I want to actually plug in. So usually I have more than just one plugged in. But basically these headphones are connected to a 1/4 splitter. And that's one is going to the what's that? This one is going to the 1/4 in the headphone amplifier. Then the other one is going to a 1/4 to 3.5 or 1/8 jack to the computer. And so when I have OBS running, audio comes from there and there, which means I get desktop audio after, because the update kind of broke that. I have this right here, which is just my trackpad that I kind of use sometimes for editing and stuff. But this is my Stream Deck that I have here just until my Stream Deck XL gets repaired, because I'm waiting for Elgato to send me another one, because the one I had stopped working properly. And so this is not the place I usually have the Switch. I have it there just as when I'm not playing it, so it doesn't basically just destroy the battery. Under there's my iPad that I use for reading stuff. Right here is a charge cable for my iPad that I can just plug into the iPad when it needs to be charged. Below there is the iPad cable, the iPad adapter for to get HDMI for iPhone and iPad. I have one for this device, but it's being used. I have to get another one. It's because the one I have is being used for a monitor, in the back room for a laptop until I can get the Mac Mini to replace the laptop, because the laptop I usually take everywhere with me. And then this is the Electro Voice RE20, which is the audio chain, is it goes from the the um the RE20 to, which has high pass filter on, and then down to a cable, the XLR cable, which goes down there to a right there, which is the claw lifter, which goes from there to the DBX 286 in the back, and the 286 goes to the line input on the interface, and the interface goes to this computer. So I was planning on getting a 18920, but since I don't really need that many instruments right now, I can just I was thinking about getting it. And then this is what I'm going to control the computer to turn on with. And then over here is my soundbar, and this TV that I can control with my Echo. Well, because SmartThings was being an issue where basically it controlled them just turning them off, but the smart plugs were always on. So what I did was basically take the smart plug. So I basically disabled them because I deleted the SmartThings thing for the TVs, and they just kept re-adding back after I deleted them. So I just disabled them, and there's no issues now, because when I said turn off TV, it would basically turn off the actual TV. It would just turn off the actual TV using SmartThings, which is not installed anymore. And instead of, it would keep the smart plug always on, versus the smart plug basically turning it off. But now it does that, because when I say, Alexa, turn off TV,
okay,
you hear a click, it turns off. Alexa, turn on TV.
okay.
Takes a little bit of time to turn on, but you can see smart TV ties in. And then it boots. And I can basically say that right here for this one, and it turns off. So that's all you really need to set up. That's all you really need to set up the computer to do some PC gaming and have a console set it up. You can even add the games onto your console. I mean, onto your desk. You can add your stuff onto the desktop. So to basically boot from actually there. But they have a YouTube app for the computer, and then they also have Hulu for the computer. So that's two things. You can make a custom app for like Amazon, aka you can just go onto their website, if using Google Chrome, you can take the web browser and then just turn a web browser to you can turn a web browser and just have it as you can make it as an actual icon link and have it basically look like its actual streaming platform. But I don't recommend doing that. What I recommend doing is, if you want to do some PC gaming and some emulation, have a PC that basically has games on there only. Don't basically mix YouTube and stuff on there, or any kind of streaming platform. Just like, if it's just games, just do your gaming and emulation on there. No web browsing, unless you just are doing like some like web browsing, like actual like typing stuff, like Reddit, which case, okay. But if you are basically like streaming like Crunchyroll, for example, Netflix, Hulu, Funimation, and any other like platform like that, like HBO Max and what's that thing called? Showtime, Stars, those kind of things where basically it would be easier to use as a remote. Get something like an Apple TV for actually that, or get something like the Google Chromecast. Because if you want something cheap that is good, the Google Chromecast or Google TV would basically just be good for like streaming video, like Plex if you already have a Plex server. But if you want to use something like Infuse, you use an Apple TV. If you wanted to do something like a Fire TV, then you can use like a Fire TV. But I recommend because I don't recommend a Roku because their updating ways are just they update literally every week, which basically breaks certain apps from actually working properly. So I've noticed that the Fire TV has too many ads. So because I've used the Apple TV, I've actually used the Roku, which works. I've used the Fire TV, which also works, but basically the Roku, I don't like the Roku because it basically updates and it breaks certain applications like Crunchyroll, which I use a lot. Um, don't know about any other apps because of that's just the one I noticed about it. It broke Crunchyroll a lot. Then the Fire TV didn't break apps, but it had too many ads on like the home screen. And to fix that, you could use Pi-hole, but didn't really have that set up at the time. And it was kind of slow when actually starting up sometimes. And this was with only like 10 apps installed. It was booting up a little slow. It was just some side loaded apps like just like some apps that they didn't have available, like Stadia and Steam in home streaming, which had the side load at a time, and well, Steam Link. Um, the Google TV is by far one of my favorites because of there was barely any ads and most of the apps worked and you only had to side load, for example, Microsoft remote desktop protocol for when trying to connect to a remote PC for trying to do work when not at a computer. um and then my favorite, which is recently, is Apple TV, because the reason I like the Apple TV, not because I'm like literally have two Apple products. I have an iPad, and then technically I have two iPhones, but they don't work. And well, they work, but they're just iPhone fives and pretty out of date. But so, and I just haven't got around to sell some of them. The only Apple products I have for now is my iPad and this Apple TV. Planning on getting a Mac just for the software, for example, a Logic Pro for music production, and um, and also Logic Pro, and also Final Cut for video editing software, for a different video editing software. And I was planning on um, moving that to the back room as a secondary computer that I can run Plex on, and also just run it as an actual, because it's an M1 chip, should do perfectly fine with Plex. And then running uh, Final Cut Logic and have a MIDI controller connected to like there. And yeah, so there's that. And also some karaoke. So basically, the back room is pretty much the same exact setup. other than right now I'm using PreSonus speakers in the background. I also don't have an actual DBX286S or a HM400 or a Dell laptop like there. I have a MSI laptop back there fresh now, and no rack, and a Scarlett Solo Gen 3, and a webcam that I have, not this webcam I have right here. That webcam, which is a AverMedia. I don't have an AverMedia. I have a Logitech in the background, but in two panels, one TV, well, two TVs, and then also the panel for the laptop, and then also a drawing tablet that I use for drawing, because I also have Photoshop for that I was gonna get for actually Mac OS, and then set that up for fresh drawing. This is because of Huelon 21, I think it is. I don't remember. No, it's Huelon 13. It's the tablet. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope this was, hope you enjoyed the video. It's just a, it's just a really long video. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't know the name of the video, but you'll see it, I guess. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.